Well, hello Rockhounds, Lapidary lovers, Mike here. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to the Tumbling Station. Yes, it's time for another What's Tumbling Today video. So, what's going on today? Well, back here on the high capacity rock tumbler, which I have a video on how I built. I'll put a link in the upper right. This drum right here, this 6-pound drum, the rocks in there have been through all 4 stages. They've been in polish for a few weeks now. They are done. So, if I remember correctly, because it's been a while, I think there's some really pretty rocks in there. So I'm going to do my usual thing. I'm going to dump out the tumbler, rinse the rocks off. We'll have a look at them over at the workbench before they go in for their ultrasonic cleaning. And then we'll take them in the studio and have a close-up look at them and critique them and see what we've got. See how beautiful they are. See what could have been done better. So let me get started. I will dump this out, rinse it off, and I'll meet you over at the workbench. Well, here they are all cleaned up. I'm keeping them wet so that the polish doesn't dry on them before I can give them their ultrasonic bath and clean them up good. Ooh, there's a wide variety of stuff here. Check this agate out. Look at that. That pretty or what? Yeah, that's nice. Speaking of agates, here it looks like the heel I cut off of a Montana moss agate. It's got some nice moss in it. That's nice. Here's an interesting Jasper agate I found a few years ago out in Wyoming. It's got this sinuous band of chalcedony running through it, and it's a dark day today, so you probably can't see any light shining through it. It's gloomy, it's overcast, it's probably going to rain. But it looks like Superman. It lights up with an S when light shines through it. Maybe I can find my flashlight. Let's see here. Kind of see how the light shines through it. I call it Superman rock. Another agate here. I am not sure what type it is or where I got it. This one's got a pretty rough surface. This one did not polish up all that great, but it sure is pretty. Petrified wood. That is some nice dark petrified wood. I don't know if that's Arizona or Wyoming wood. Hard to say. Speaking of Wyoming, though, here's some banded iron formation from Wyoming. So there's a wide variety of stuff here. This, I think, is probably snakeskin agate from Wyoming, too. So, anyway, there's a bunch of different stuff here. Ooh, there's some nice rainbow petrified wood from Arizona. All right, so this is all going to get a bath in the ultrasonic cleaner, Mexican Crazy Lace. And once it gets its bath in the ultrasonic, it'll be ready for its close-up in the studio. Now, there's probably too much stuff here to do it all in the ultrasonic in one batch, graveyard point plume. So we'll have to do 2 batches. I'll put the rocks that won't make it through this batch down in this bucket of water down here so they stay wet, so that the polish does not harden on them and in them like concrete. Another piece of Mexican Crazy Lace. It almost looks like an arrowhead. So anyway, let me get the first batch going in the ultrasonic and the rest of these rocks underwater. Alright, there's the first batch in the ultrasonic cleaner basket. Boy, there's some pretty looking stuff in there too, let me tell you. Alright, in goes a little bit of Dawn dishwashing liquid to help clean them up. And we'll give them a good long rinse in there. Oh, you see the polish coming off, my goodness. That's why I do it. Get all those last traces of polish off of them. And they'll be as clean as they can be when we take them inside the studio and have a close-up look at them. Alright, in the meantime, I've got an empty tumbler. I need to find some more rocks to tumble. An empty tumbler, that just cannot stand. Tumblers must be full of rocks and turning at all times, as far as I'm concerned. So let me find some more rocks. We'll fill that up and get it going again. So I keep my 12-pound tumbler on my big home-built high-capacity tumbler over there. I keep that doing rough rocks all the time. When I get new rocks in that I want to tumble, their first stop is in that 12-pound tumbler. And every week or so, I empty it out, and the rocks that are ready to go on to stage 2 wind up in this bucket. Blocks that aren't ready to go on to stage 2 stay in that 12-pound tumbler, and I top it off with more rough rocks. This whole bucket is full of rocks ready for stage 2. So let's find some Arizona petrified wood, Wyoming banded iron, more Arizona petrified wood, Montana moss agate, graveyard point plume, you know, not sure, but pretty. The heel off of a very pretty agate I cut. Even in this dull light, you can kind of see it's a little translucent. Very pretty agate that I got, I believe, at a rock shop in South Dakota. Another Montana moss agate. A slice out of a Moroccan agate. More Montana moss. Some more petrified wood from Arizona. Bubblegum agate. Some sort of very busy and very pretty agate. I don't know. I got so many rocks, it's hard to keep track. Another big piece of Wyoming banded iron. I love collecting this stuff out in Wyoming, and it tumbles up so great. The bands of hematite in them, they look like polished metal once this goes through the whole process. Some kind of agate. Another piece of Montana moss. Another piece of banded iron. What are these? That's some green tree agate, I believe, and this, I believe, is green moss agate. Oh, down here, there's some very colorful muakkite. We'll throw that in. Not sure, but that's pretty fractured. I'm not sure if I actually want to tumble that. I might set that one aside and throw it out. Some more petrified wood, some more Montana moss. You see a theme here. Some sort of very pretty brecciated jasper. Some more muakkite, and some more muakkite. Something, don't know, but it's pretty. And I got to keep an eye on the level here because I got to get media in here. Once we go to stage 2 and beyond, we tumble with media. Get this piece of banded iron in there, and maybe, ooh, that's a nice piece of Montana moss. We'll throw that in there, and that is probably about as far as I want to go with this drum. So I can get all the media in it from the stuff that just came out of that drum. All right, let me put the media in. And there's lots of pieces, little pieces of agate in here. Some of them I got from my buddy Jim, specifically to use as tumbling media. But some of it's just small pieces, you know, that spalled off stuff I've tumbled in the past, or stuff that's just gotten too small. And I just leave it in here as additional tumbling media. Agate is probably the best tumbling media to tumble agate. But there's also some ceramic chips in here. It's all good. It all works. All right. Essentially, might want to put it a little higher than that. Let me find a couple more rocks here. Oh, that's pretty. I have no clue where I got that, but that's pretty. Okay, we'll throw that one in. I like orange. We'll throw that orange one in. And maybe we'll leave it at that with another piece of petrified wood. Okay, we'll leave it at that. Get a little bit of water in it from this bucket that has the second batch of rocks that are waiting for their ultrasonic. Put a little bit of water in here from that. Here we are. Let me get some stage 2 220 grit. We'll put it in here, and we'll get this thing lit up and spinning again. All right, stage 2 220. So my process here is 4 stages. Stage 1, 60 or 60 90, basically whatever's on sale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then 220. And then 400 or 500, again, whatever's on sale, whatever I have on hand. And then that's the pre-polish, the 400 or 500. And then we go on to cerium oxide. Now, I leave it in pre-polish long enough that that pre-polished grit, 400, 500, whatever I'm using, breaks down into really tiny stuff and gets finer and finer, and the rocks get smoother and smoother. 2-3 weeks, you're ready to go to cerium oxide. You don't need a finer grit. Sometimes I'm working on something special that gives me some trouble, and I might want to go to a special 1000 mesh aluminum oxide pre-polish. Sometimes I do that with very soft rocks, but for harder rocks like agates, yeah, they're going to shine up amazing with this process. All right, let me wipe that off. I got to remark it with today's date and the fact that we're in 220, and then get it spinning again. Yep, all right, so we are in 220. It is 10:30. Yes, day before Halloween, 10:30. So I'll look at this again in a couple of weeks. I think 2 weeks and 220 grit will have done its job, and we'll be ready to move on to the pre-polished grit. All right, let me get this spinning again. Alrighty, here we go. Back on the tumbler. See you rocks in 2 weeks. All right, and I think the stuff in the ultrasonic cleaner is just about ready for its close-up in the studio. So I'll meet you in the studio and we'll have a good look at these rocks. Alrighty, so here's the rocks. Let's have a look what we've got here. It's a big batch. Wow, that is some nice petrified wood right there. That is a beautiful, beautiful piece of petrified wood. I love tumbling petrified wood. It usually takes on a really, really good polish. The more agatized it is, the silicified it is, the better the polish it takes. So that's pretty nice. What do we got here? Some sort of agate, maybe? It's pretty broken up. I'm surprised that didn't fall apart in the tumbler. It took a pretty good polish in spite of having all those cracks in it. Badly crazed. But it smoothed out and took a pretty good polish except for the cracks. Not much I could do about that. Here's another piece of agate. Look at that. Whoa. That beautiful or what? Wow. It's got some pits here and there. But I didn't want to tumble it until it was too small to try and get through all the pits. Sometimes you try to tumble a rock to get rid of all the surface imperfections, and you just find new ones deeper in, you know? And before you know it, the rock's nothing but a little shard. So at some point, you just got to call it and stop. I think that's a beautiful rock in spite of its few little surface imperfections, so I'm happy with it. Speaking of surface imperfections, out at the bench, I couldn't remember what this was. Now I remember. This is actually, I thought it was an agate. This is actually petrified wood. One of the most colorful pieces of petrified wood I'd ever found. And I took some slabs off of it, and I still have some of those slabs. Some of them got tumbled, and they were absolutely amazing. And then the little nub left, I decided to tumble. But obviously, there's just, you know, a lot of host rock and stuff here. It's just not going to ever tumble into anything beautiful, unfortunately. I mean, I could maybe try and slice this a little bit off, but I don't know if it's worth the effort. I was hoping it would polish up nice, but not exactly. Nope. I think we ran out of petrified wood there. What have we here? I believe this is some snakeskin agate that my wife and I found out in Wyoming. We went on a rockhounding field trip with the Riverton Gem and Mineral Society, and we found literal tons of snakeskin agate. I brought back, I think, 50 pounds of it. I still have a whole bunch of it. I don't know what to do with now. I got to really curb my urge to fill my bucket when I come across stuff. But this, almost dropped it. But this took on a really good polish. Nice. Nice. Here's that Superman rock I showed you before. It's got this sinuous band of clear chalcedony through it. It's got sort of reddish jasper on this side, and multicolored jasper on this side, and a sinuous band of chalcedony between them. Actually, I think it's got a couple of them. There's another band right there. That came out really nice. This is a slice out of a bigger rock that I found when I was out in Wyoming, rockhounding. Got a big pit there, but otherwise it's nice. I like that. I like the S. What do we got here? Looks like some crazy lace. Yeah. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that. Look at the colors. The banding. Oh yeah. There's more of that banding. Wow. That's nice. I do love the Mexican crazy lace. That is so cool. Let's see. I see some carnelian. There's a piece. There's a piece. I don't think that's a piece, but that looks like a piece. That looks like a piece. Is that carnelian or is that something else? That's something else. So I got the carnelian at Tucson, the Gem and Mineral Show. I bought a big bag of it when I was out at the Keno show. And I've been tumbling it. And beautiful. Takes forever in rough grit, though. Let me tell you, this stuff is super hard. Super hard. Some busy little agates, though. There's a lot going on inside them. There's all kinds of stuff going on inside them. I love that sort of yellow-orange color, too. Let's see what's way over here. Speaking of agates, that's a heel from Montana moss agate. I love the tree-like moss that these things have. There's a lot of Montana moss in here. Some slices off of an agate that I cut. It's a subtle banding as well as that black moss in there. Yeah, that's cool. I don't know if you can hear one of our parrots in the background. She's getting pretty loud. Sorry about that. There's no shutting her up when she starts. A couple rooms away, though. Some more Montana moss. And here's the piece I was cutting those other slices off of. What's left of it. Wow. And one more piece of Montana moss agate. That one's got a lot going on in there. Look at that. It's amazing. I love this stuff. I absolutely love it. Probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite agates. Montana moss. Oh, I said one more, but here's another piece over here. This kind of looks like Montana moss, but this is actually Graveyard Point plume. Look at the plumy stuff in it. Yeah, completely different kind of moss. It's got the white plumes. Yeah, that's something different. Let's see. I thought this was carnelian, but I don't think it is. Not sure what it is. Some kind of agate. I got too many rocks. Got to the point where I don't know where I got some of them. I used to know where every single rock I tumbled came from. Now it's like, I don't remember. So most of these rocks took a really good polish. There's a few. Here's one. This is some petrified wood I collected recently out in Arizona on one of my collecting trips out there. I can put a link to that trip in the upper right. You can check it out if you like. I think I rushed this one, but it's also just not a rock that's going to tumble very well. It's all cracked, and I think pieces keep spalling off of it, so it's all rough over here. Does detract from the beauty of this side, but it really it could either stand to tumble longer in rough or not be tumbled at all. And there's another piece here somewhere. Where did I see it? Pretty sure there's another piece in this batch. Here it is. Yeah, this one over here. This one over here's got same issues. Either I needed to skip trying to tumble this one because it's so broken up, or I should have tried to tumble it longer so it's smoother.
It's also a little bit plainer than I was expecting it to be. So yeah, I don't really think it was worth trying to tumble this one. But as far as petrified wood goes, look at this. Look at this. Oh yeah, that's nice. That is nice. Now it does have this, I won't call it a crack because I don't think it's a crack. It's some sort of void full of druzy quartz. It looks like it's got a little piece of something else that's spalled off jammed in there. I'll have to pull that out with a little tool. But really, on the whole, this is a beautiful piece of petrified wood. This tumbled great. Took a great finish. Like I say, the highly silicified petrified wood takes a great finish. Yeah, case in point. Here's another piece. Yep, just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. What do we got back here? Some sort of crazy lace agate. I guess that's Mexican crazy lace. It's just not super colorful like the last piece I showed you. Oh yeah, but look at the banding in it. And look at the, I guess those were fractures that are infilled with something, but look at the polish it took. Wow. And that's cool right there, the fortifications. That's nice. That's really nice. What's this? Wyoming banded iron. Look at the shine on the bands of hematite there. Doesn't that look like polished metal? Look at that. Yeah, see how shiny that is? That's crazy cool. That's why I love this stuff. Every time I go out to Wyoming, I hunt for more of it. Nice. Very nice. I guess, oh, here's another carnelian. Look at that. Look how busy that is in there. Isn't that cool? And then what's this? That's some sort of banded jasper, I think I picked up. Thinking it was banded iron, but it's actually kind of banded jasper. It's pretty broken up. Yeah, it's got some deep cracks in it. But where the surface is smooth, it took a pretty good polish. This thing looks interesting. What do we got over here? Some sort of very dark agate. It's got some stuff going on inside it. Got a few fractures, but I'll tell you what, I can't even feel it with my fingernail. Took a pretty good polish. I think this one over here is more graveyard point plume. Yeah, that's what that is. Yeah, look at the pluminess there. Yeah. I think this is a heel off of a piece I cut off. I was making slabs out of it, and that's the heel. I am not sure. Oh, look at that orange color, though. Lots of stuff going on there. Oh, I knew that was in there somewhere. I was looking for it. Look at that. Is that beautiful? From this side, it's pretty plain. That was the side that was up. This side, oh, clearly that's the money side. I think this is Mexican crazy lace, but I'm not 100% certain. I think that's what that is. I think this is more of the snakeskin agate, maybe? No, it's something else, because the snakeskin doesn't seem to have any banding in it. This has got banding. Yeah, see that? Get the light just right. So I'm not sure. It's another case of I've got too many rocks and I can't remember where this one came from. What's hiding back here? Colorful. I think this might be Jasper. Multicolored Jasper. Beautiful. What's this? More petrified wood. This is something I found rockhounding in Arizona. This one I remember, because this one took a long time in rough to smooth out. Remember what I was saying about sometimes, you just have to give up on a rock, because if you try to keep tumbling it to smooth out the surface and you just find more imperfections underneath. This rock was very, very porous. Had a lot of pits on the surface. and I left it in rough. It was a lot bigger. It was a lot bigger. I left it in rough a long time, hoping it would clean up. And finally, it got to this stage, and it's still got, you know, a crack here and some pits, and some pits down here. But I'm like, yeah, here's another crack. But I'm like, this rock is going to disappear if I go for perfection, so I'm going to move it on. And yeah, it's definitely much better than it was when I first put it in, and you can see the wood grain in there. Is that cool or what? I love it. Yeah. So that turned out pretty good. So on the whole, I'm pretty happy with this batch. Like I said, I think I either rushed or shouldn't have even bothered with a few of these rocks. But otherwise, I think I'm pretty happy with how this all turned out. Oh yeah, there's that piece of brecciated agate. Saw that up on the workbench. Yeah, that's nice. Well, clearly, our parrots are going to insert themselves into this conversation. So I think I'm going to end this video here. I'm pretty happy with how this batch turned out. If you guys are happy with this batch of tumbled rocks, give this video a like, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe to see future videos as I tumble more rocks, cut more rocks, go rock hounding in interesting places, and I'm starting to get into various lapidary arts. So subscribe to see those future videos. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks a lot for watching this one. Bye.